Today I'm going to be talking about propagation of eastern redbud. That's a native tree that has distinctive heart-shaped leaves and beautiful magenta flowers that come out early in the spring and last into early summer. It's been used by First Nations and Europeans for its edible flowers, and it also has tasty little chestnut-like seeds, just a little bit smaller. And in Appalachia, it's also referred to as spicewood for that radish-like flower. It has a huge boon for pollinators as well because it comes out so early in the spring and lasts into the summer, and it's just covered with those nectar-providing flowers. And this is the range map of the redbud here. Now, this doesn't tell the whole story. There's actually a number of morphological variances within the species, and so that eastern redbud that you get down in Mexico is going to be morphologically distinct to the one you get up in Chicago, and it just can't handle being shipped and put into the ground there. It's going to be morphologically different. It can't handle a cold. It has different bud breaking temperatures, and so we run into some problems there. But just keep that in mind that map doesn't tell the whole story. So the reason that we want to propagate via seed most of the time is because you can get it from a local tree, and well, there is double dormancy on the seed, so they're certainly not giving you an easy time. It's much better than taking it from cuttings. So it has physical dormancy, which needs to be broken down via 98% sulfuric acid for 11 to 30 minutes, or by hot water, 99 degrees Celsius for a minute. Once you break that down, you also have morphological dormancy, where you have to keep it at 5 degrees Celsius for 60 days, or there has been some results with 5 degrees Celsius for 14 days and then 24 hours of exposure to gibberellic acid. However, that has resulted in some weaker seedlings for that faster turnaround. So cuttings and graftings are the #1 way that we get true to type eastern redbuds. So cutting is the most commercially viable in my opinion, although it has limited success. If you have it in a humidity chamber at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, you get about 75% rooting rate, whereas if you drop that down to 65, you get 0%. So it's kind of picky. However, it's not very labor intensive, whereas grafting is highly labor intensive with a higher success rate, but that varies a lot year to year. Depending on the year, redbuds can be pretty finicky, and they just don't respond very well to asexual propagation. That is, unless you're talking about tissue culture, they respond pretty well to that. We've had some good luck, although it's a rather recent endeavor, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of money in it because of that morphological variance across its range. You simply can't mass produce a lot of varieties. You need to have 30 different varieties for the continent because you can't sell the same redbud to someone in Philadelphia as you can to someone in northern Florida because of that morphological variance within the species. So there's got to be a lot more investment. And that's where this future research comes in. There has been some success with hybridization with an Asian species. However, it resulted in a dwarf. And so we're still trying to work that out at the National Arboretum. But it seems as though the Asian variety is much easier to root, and therefore you could propagate it much more easily. However, I think the best way is to pursue that tissue culture idea, where you can produce a lot of plants very quickly, and they're all genetically identical, so you can get a really true to type plant. But you have to break it into subspecies, so you can't have this massive glob of species because they're all morphologically different. And even in those subspecies, you have to break it down into regional varieties because redbuds are just so picky. And so I believe that's the best direction to go for future research and the propagation of eastern redbud.